What's up, you stupid idiot?
What's up,
can't,
everybody?
I can't not say it.
You know,
You know,
I believe it. I believe it. I can't say it because I
I
don't think,
can't.
I'm too nice. So I just say hi to everybody.
Listen, and I'm too cute for you to get mad at me. What's going on? I'm
There you
Jefferson. I'm
go.
joined here with Maddie Beggs. You know it. That's Matt
What up?
Begley.
What up? What up?
We're gonna
How's
do my
everybody
guys.
doing? Let's do it.
Let's fucking do it.
Some-
Um, so the fantasy footballers do this, and I didn't. Did you listen to their episode for
I
this
missed
series?
it.
Okay, it just came out. I didn't listen to it yet. So
Okay.
I want to be clear to the listeners. I don't know what they're up to, as far as
Gotcha.
they're my guys. So if I have repeat, I'll find out later and I apologize. But if they're my guy, I wanted to do, if they're my guys, they're my guys.
Yep.
I don't care yet about what they got. Yeah. Um, so we'll do quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end.
Sounds good. And we'll want to do like 1-1. Like you give me your QB, I'll give you mine, and
Yeah.
bing, bing, bing. All right.
All right, and we
We'll do-
actually didn't check with each other to see if we
No,
have repeats. So, and
I
we
know.
are in
So
a home league together. I think our home league is what scoring? Do you know what our scoring is?
I do have my
Is it
phone. So it's
PPR?
PPR.
It is PPR?
Definitely
Okay.
PPR.
All right, I should have.
And then we get 4 points for QB scoring,
Okay.
and then basically it's standard, pretty much standard everything else. You
Okay.
know, where the rushing yards and all of that. So yeah, you're good.
Sorry, I'm so stupid. I just was like, I
No,
know I can eat the rest of this really fast. No, I
no worries.
can't.
Do you want me to hit you with my QB then, real quick?
Hell
All
yeah.
right. So my guy QB is Russell Wilson of the Denver Broncos. That's you? How do you like that?
No,
No?
that's not mine.
Just like the
That's a
pick?
great choice,
Thank
dude.
you.
Hell yeah. I didn't even, yeah, hell yeah.
He has never been outside of either the top 10 or the top 12 in finishing in the fantasy rankings, either in, I believe, PPR standard leagues. Outside of last year, where he was injured, he's got a ton of weapons on that team. Judy, Sutton, the running backs. He's got a good offensive line there. He's got an offensive minded coach for once in Hackett instead of Pete Carroll and doing this whole establishing the run like morons when they had a MVP quarterback and Russell Wilson. Um, I think, yes, he's lost a step as far as running around and having some of the mobility stuff. But I think
Yeah.
what he's lost in the mobility, he has made up in smarts and in pocket presence of just having all the established years in the league. And I
Yeah.
just think also it being in the AFC West, where you tend to see more shootouts and not as much defense getting played, I could just really see a 35-10 kind of touchdown season with some rushing behind that and over 4,000 yards. I really think it's going to be a big year for Russell Wilson in Denver.
Oh, I love this choice. Man, you're so right. Everything like the history he's established, he's
Yep.
he's done this before, and then the weapons. I mean, not as the only reason the weapons he has this year are not as established as the ones he had last year is because they didn't have him as a quarterback.
100%.
You know?
110% correct on that.
He's not gonna rush as much, I don't think, right? Because he's getting up there in age, and like
Right.
he's somebody they're gonna want to protect. But he's
And
gonna,
yeah, I don't think they're going to
yeah,
design it, but I think he's going to steal you, I think, 3 to 5 rushing touchdowns.
yeah.
There's going to be those games where Russ is on the 10-yard line, drops back to pass, and nothing's open, and he's smart enough to just run it in.
Man, it's yeah, of course, right? It's wild to me,
Yeah.
that he's so underrated. I do think for just based on the other quarterbacks, his ceiling to me is like a QB9. So I'm gonna wait to get him. I'm not gonna
Yep.
reach for him, but if he's sitting there around, I don't know, depends. That depends on the
Right.
draft. I'll
Or
grab
it's
him.
exactly. It's one of those where if you're seeing, Allen and Mahomes and everybody's flying off the board in the third round, then you queue him up for the between the eighth and the 10th, and you let yourself build on wideouts and running backs.
Yeah,
And you get the steady as I go 20 to 30 from him every week.
yeah, man. Yeah, great choice. Okay, so you put planting the flag in Russ. Let's see if you get him. Our home league draft is in 9 days.
Yep. I
So
wanted I wanted to say Lawrence, but as I said, Lawrence was my shot in the dark. So I wanted a little
Yeah.
more proven of a person if I'm going with my guys. That's why I went Wilson here.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that for you too.
Yeah.
And Lawrence is not somebody for me I'm gonna draft. Like I'm gonna let him if someone else wants to really take him and stash him, it's like, well, that's your roster spot you're wasting, not mine.
Well, right. That's I think I'm leaning in that direction to where I want him as one of my second QB, but I'm at the bridge. I'm gonna cross that bridge when I get there. So
Yeah. Yeah, I love that for you. I really do.
yeah.
You
Now
know
who
who
do
my
you got?
guy is. You know who it is. It's Jalen Hurts.
That's right.
It's
I know.
obviously because he is my guy. You know, when it
Yeah.
comes down to it, like, and he was last year, and he is this year, and
Yep.
it's a little more chalk this year than it was last year because he did kind of establish himself. But surprisingly, it's not as chalk as you'd think it is.
Yeah.
Here. I'm gonna say these three words. There's more than three. Third
Okay.
easiest strength of schedule.
I like it.
Okay. Finished QB 8 with
Yep.
321 points.
Yep.
321.16. QB 7, so QB above him was Aaron Rodgers, 322.08.
Hey,
So
do it.
0.92 difference. So pretty much we're talking about the slimmest margin of him being a top 7 QB.
Yep.
He averaged 21.41 points per game. That's a
Yeah.
lot of points to
That's
average.
what you're looking for.
He's got a
Absolutely.
real high floor and a
Yep.
real high ceiling.
Yep.
And then honestly, the difference between him and QB2, who's Herbert, was 1.55 points per game. That
Yeah.
is less
He's
than 2 points, so about a point and a half per game with the QB2 because Josh Allen broke things. So just looking from 2 to 8, there was only about a point and a half difference, and the ceiling for Hurts. I mean, he was winning me weeks ultimately, plus the
yeah.
draft capital.
Right. Well, right.
You
And
know,
I think the draft capital portion may go away with him
Mm,
this year because, as you have said, um, that he's been put more on the radar of everybody. But
yeah,
I agree in the fantasy lens of it as far as Hurts is concerned with you. And that I think if you're gonna reach on a guy, as much as yes, you want the big name of Allen, Herbert, and Mahomes, and I get those name values that what they come with.
yeah,
But if I were to reach on a quarterback, I'd rather have Hurts over those other three in the sense that he's going to run. And in a fantasy world, you can't take that away from a quarterback. A
right,
quarterback that can do running back like things and put up running back like points combined with being a quarterback is just irreplaceable sometimes in
yeah.
certain standard leagues, or it's just very valuable. So no, I think as I don't believe in him, and this is Dallas Hater talking. I don't believe in him as far as winning anything. I
Mm,
don't think he's it. I don't. I think he can be a leader. I think guys want to play for him. I just think either when it gets down to the nitty gritty, he's either going to be hurt and just not be able to play, or teams will figure him out because it's a scheme that is able to be figured out when games when
yeah,
like playoff wise, the Jalen Hurts system has shown to not work. The read options, the mobile quarterback stuff, but
yeah.
during the regular season, absolutely. So I'm with you as far as a fantasy lens is concerned. Believe in Jalen Hurts,
Yep, 100%.
110%.
Uh, and to your point about, people kind of catching up and drafting him sooner, if the people are gonna kind of reach on Hurts, then I'm just gonna take Lamar and
Absolutely,
have
and then it
a
all it
super
all
similar season. Yeah.
absolutely, and it
Because
all
that was
kind
the
of
thing.
shakes out.
Lamar was the
The
overhyped player
yeah,
last year,
yep,
and so we'll just,
Hurts fell.
but still, Hurts
Yeah,
is who I'm targeting. If I can get him, I'm
yeah,
taking him.
there you go.
Yeah.
All right, so
Um,
now my guy, running back.
Running back. Yep.
So you're going to be maybe a little surprised because a lot of people would say to handicap him with the other running back on his team, but I'm going to say Aaron Jones of the Green Bay Packers is
Great
my
choice.
guy this year
Yeah.
for a running back. So let me give you a little tidbit with Aaron Jones. 7 games without Devontae Adams in his career.
Hmm.
He's got 10 touchdowns and averages 5 catches for 55 yards. with about 64 yards rushing. So
Ooh.
you're looking at about 100 total yards with a touchdown and 5 catches. It's 21 points.
Oh
Obviously, he's
man.
not going to get 21 points every week or of the like, but I'm a big believer, especially if Rodgers has got these early complaints about his wideouts, then
Yeah.
Jones is the pass catching back.
Yep.
So, and Rodgers being the disciplined, good quarterback that he is going to survey his field, check it down.
Yep.
Survey his field, check it down. And that's Aaron Jones all day long. I get the worry in that he may not get 1,000 yards rushing because he has A.J. Dillon behind him, but he's big plays. He's nose for the end zone, and he is the first check down option for Aaron Rodgers. And that's the combination of all of that. I'm big on Aaron Jones this year, excuse me.
Love that choice, man. Honestly, he doesn't have the wide receiver weapons. Who's his number one target? Aaron Jones. Just yeah, everything. And then with Dylan, I think we'll shift over to a more because he's huge, dude. Like if you, I
Right.
mean, he's huge. He's literally 250. Like this kid
Mm-hmm.
is, he's
No, he's a it's Aaron Donald if he decided to play running back.
exactly.
It's
So
he's
it's
a
like, yeah, so
monster.
we have our established the run runner, and then we have our pass catching running back who's gonna break open the game for us, and then whatever they figure out at wide receiver. But
Right.
yeah, I mean,
It's definitely the Green Bay backfield situation is obviously very interesting, but I think it's interesting in a good way in that if you draft Aaron Jones where you draft Aaron Jones, it's going to be a success. And then a
yeah,
few rounds later, if you don't get Dylan, so be it. And then on the flip side, if you didn't get Aaron Jones in that early rounds, but you go get AJ Dillon in that 7 to 9 range, so be it. Like
yeah,
both those guys are gonna produce in their own way on that team, I believe,
yeah.
especially with this lack of weapons. They're gonna get
He's
creative with those two guys,
yeah,
or just have games where they put Dylan in the I formation and run it down your throat because you're not
yep,
ready for it. And so, yeah, all right. So who's your
yep.
running back?
So I'm looking at I did something that's gonna seem really really stupid, but I'm gonna explain it, and it actually kind of goes to uh I said an AJ Dillon comp. So in 2019, in his rookie season, Dillon finished as the running back 76, okay, with 39.2 points, and he looked great. And last year, I was like, I'm targeting him in the same way
Yep.
I was targeting Naheem Hines, who didn't have the year last year I thought he would because Wentz, and because they
Mm-hmm.
were like, oh, also Jonathan Taylor is insane.
Yeah, right.
So
Turns out.
yeah. So I last year was kind of stashing Dylan on teams, and then at what do you know? In year two, he finished the running back 20 with 144.9 points per game. Why am I saying this? Well, there's another player who had a kind of middling year, finished as the running back 59 last year, with 63.8 points, but only 3 true starts, and looked good. I have the same feeling in my heart that I had about AJ Dillon of like, man, this guy's something. And that's Khalil Herbert.
Okay.
So 3 starts, okay? And one of
Yeah.
them, they didn't know how to freaking scheme for him yet. And that was week 5. And they gave him 18 touches. He had no touchdowns. They did win that game in week 5, but like
Can
he
I
barely was able to make anything of his touches, and he had no touchdowns, so he didn't do super well.
can I get Khalil Herbert's team? Because this is the first time I've
Oh, he is on the Bears.
okay. See, all
So
right,
when
perfect.
Montgomery went down,
Yep. He okay.
week 5 he started again. I just don't think they knew how to scheme for him yet. Then week
Yep.
6, when he's starting for Herbert that week, I mean for Montgomery, excuse me, that week he finished as the running back 10
Okay. Yeah.
and standard, and then 11 in others. Then week 7, Montgomery's still down. So again, week 5, they don't know how to scheme for him. They're just handing him the ball the same way they were doing. Literally, they were like just plugged him into Montgomery's role, and he's not built the same way. He's not doesn't have the same skill set. So by week 6, they figured it out a little bit more. He by week 7, when he was starting for Montgomery, that's the 3rd week starting for Montgomery, running back 6 on the week.
Okay.
So they were figuring out how to use him. Once they figured it out, they were like, dude, this guy is good. When they put him on the field, he's good. Not to mention, now I know this isn't fantasy necessarily, but he has the fourth highest PFF grade. He's the fourth highest PFF graded rusher from last year. So when he's on the field, he's doing what he's supposed to be doing. He's making something out of literally nothing. So you're looking
Yes.
at that line and you're going, well, he's gonna have to. And it's like, well, he literally did last year. And
Yes.
I'm gonna say whatever 6 words. Easiest strength of schedule.
Yes.
Easiest strength of schedule. So yeah, his line puts him at this disadvantage, but you see Montgomery, you see the way they use him. They're gonna learn how to scheme for Herbert's strengths, I think. And just looking at how they did for Dylan in his first year, they really didn't know how to scheme for his strengths yet. But so that's why he finished running back 76, and then last year running back 20. I see Herbert as somebody finishing running back 59 and last year. I see his ceiling is probably like a running back 20, but that is still an RB2 that's going to go literally undrafted.
Yeah.
So,
Let
right?
me continue to reiterate
Yeah.
everything that you had just said. Let me help give you some backup points here, because while you were talking about him, I looked in. So first off, David Montgomery is in the last year of his 4-year deal. And so what's interesting about that is, does he either play with a chip on his shoulder, or does he go the other way with it where he's like, this place doesn't want me. I don't want to be here. They don't get me. I don't get them. I'm going to obviously play hard and do, you know what I mean? Obviously, he's not going to mail it in,
Right.
but it kind of goes with your point of that you could see it transitioning away from him.
Yeah.
The other part that's intriguing is Tyreek Cohen is not on this team,
Nope.
and they need a third down change of pace back. So at the least, could Herbert be that with an explosive offense and an explosive playmaker in and of himself? So yeah, the more you are, and then also like you had said, he averaged about a half a yard better per game in the 2 games he had gotten the rub.
Yep. With the
I
same
think
team and the same
same team.
personnel.
And I think
So,
also too, another adage is that head coach. And that schematically, like you said, I think that coach is going to be able to scheme things up and put him in a position of success
yeah.
more than Nagy did, and combine it with Fields. And somebody's got to get points in that Bears offense besides Darrell Mooney and Justin Fields.
Yep.
So I love it. That is a
Yeah.
great low
Deep
/
cut.
no radar,
Yeah.
high value pick right there.
Deep cut. I saw him play
Yep,
when
that
he
is
started
deep.
those games last year because I had Montgomery on a bunch of my
Yep.
teams. Last year, Montgomery, I wouldn't say he was was he like my guy? I drafted the shit out of him, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Yep.
I had him, I think, on our home league team. I also had Hurt. So these are guys. But
Mm-hmm.
in drafting Montgomery, I'm watching these
Yes.
Bears games really
Yeah.
closely. And when he went out and I'm watching Herbert and I'm like,
You
this
find the
kid was
diamond in the rough.
he was holding my team down single-handedly
Yeah.
those. I mean, one of those weeks he had 18 points.
Yeah.
It was like,
Yeah.
what?
That's yep.
So once
Absolutely.
Montgomery, and the other thing is they started to figure out how to throw him the ball. So,
Yes.
they only really have Darnell Mooney right now, and we'll see. And then Cole
Yeah.
Kmet, of course. But,
Right.
but so
It's
I
okay. You
think,
don't need to. You don't need to do a Cole
sorry,
Clement
sorry.
shot out there as if the world owes him one.
Of course, Cole Kmet. My
Yeah.
apologies.
Yeah.
Um,
Tony Gonzalez, Cole Clement.
right. That's how I rank them too.
That's how I do my tight ends.
So,
No, I got you though. Yeah, it's
yeah,
very. I
that's
like
it.
that.
Cool. Cool,
I like
cool.
it a lot. So wideout, I won't lie, I went pretty chalky here / one of the big 3, and I went Justin Jefferson. New offense,
Cool.
offensive minded coach. This coach came from the Rams, where they believe in screen passes and swing passes are more effective than actually run. It's a West Coast throw the ball a ton offense.
Yeah.
He's clearly the number 1 on that team. It's not Thielen, it's not anyone else now that he's done this for 2 years. He's going to get help from the running game in Cook and Madison. And then I don't believe in Kirk Cousins as far as winning me games, but I most certainly do believe in Kirk Cousins to score 28 to 34 points, even in
Yeah.
garbage time.
Can I just real quick to ask because
Yep.
are you taking him wide receiver 1?
So yes.
Okay.
If you say to me, if I get whatever, he will not be my first overall pick in any
Okay.
capacity. Like I can tell, I don't care if it's on the internet or do you like, I will be taking a running back first round. That's how I
Okay.
strategize.
No
That's how
matter
I
what.
roll. No, not a no matter what,
Okay.
because if I go to the 9th or 10th, then it gets interesting. So yeah, I guess I don't want to say never,
Right.
because yeah, if I'm sitting there at 9 or 10, maybe, and Justin Jefferson is there, then I take him. But for sure, if I take, let's say whatever, if I'm in a top 4 pick and I take a wideout and then back end second round, he's there, it's a no brainer.
Okay.
If it's running back heavy amongst our draft,
Yeah.
definitely a wide receiver one though, for sure,
Okay. Cool. Cool. Cool.
for sure. I
Uh,
think it's just, yeah,
so
even the
this is
floor.
because I think it becomes a real, like, a less chalk choice if it's like, I'm taking him over Cup, I'm taking him over Chase, I'm taking him
That's
over
true.
Diggs, I'm taking him over
Yes.
Adams. Like, this
Which,
is
yep, and
my
I would.
guy.
You're
Okay.
right. So that's
Cool.
why it is my guy.
Cool.
Yep.
Cool.
As much as I had Cooper Cup last year and I loved every minute of it, I just don't know if it gets repeated
Yeah.
to the tune that it does. And part of that's not even Cooper Cup's fault. Part of that's the worry of Matt Stafford's elbow.
I mean,
And
I'm
and
so with you. Thank
yeah,
you. Like,
and LA having the target on its back. Him having
I
a target on his
mean,
back. He's going to
right?
get the number 1 corner with a safety behind. You know what I mean? Teams are going to have certain days where they're going to go, anybody but coopercup.com is our domain name today, and let the chips fall as they
Yep.
might for anyone else. The Van Jeffersons of the world can go off and they'll let
Yep.
them beat them.
That's a good point. That's a good pro Van Jefferson argument right
Yeah,
there.
right.
I
Thank
like
me
that
on
a
that.
lot.
And then I guess that continuing with the Justin Jefferson part is that I get that obviously teams are going to scheme to stop him, but I just think there's enough around Minnesota and enough unknown from that head coach to have some tweaks and different things to continue to let Justin Jefferson be the elite number 1 wideout he is.
Cool. Yeah, I love that.
Yep.
Can't nothing to say. I will say Thielen is getting so much hype right now.
And I don't hate that. A wide receiver 2 to 3 there is for sure.
Yep.
Kurt loves him in the red zone.
Yeah.
The guy does nothing but catch more than 75 balls. It's, in his DNA to do that, be open. So yeah, I do love Thielen. I just think that, obviously when the Diggs got traded and then they brought this kid in, he's their guy. You're going to see it.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think Thielen is your bargain.
Yep.
But Jefferson is your target. And then if you can,
Get them both
you
if
can
you
get them,
believe.
get them. Yeah.
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 I've seen that with Diggs and Thielen back in the day, and it worked for people. Because even if one goes for 30 and the other goes for nothing, you still got 2 guys that went for 15 for you.
Exactly. Exactly. I wouldn't do that personally,
No,
but
it's yeah.
that kind of caps your
Yeah,
ceiling, but
you're probably naming your team the Purple People Eaters if you have both of those guys, because you probably have Cousins
absolutely.
and Cook with it too, and it's
Yeah.
a lot of Viking flags in your house. But
Skull and shit or whatever. I don't
yeah.
know. Okay, so I'm gonna plant my flag in this little my guy here. Amon Ra, Saint Brown, my dude. Okay, now,
Yeah.
yeah, because
Yeah.
Jared Goff is a serviceable quarterback. Um,
Hard
he
Knocks doesn't help you though, and that the world is learning about St. Brown now.
I know I didn't watch the second episode. Does he get
He
featured?
Yep.
Fuck.
Named
All right.
all 16 or 15 guys ahead of him, and then they showed how he works out with his dad. The whole thing.
Wait, that's
Yeah.
so cute. Wait, so
Dad
he's
was a
like,
dad was a former Mr. Wonderful or Mr. Universe. Oh yeah,
what?
heavy, yeah, powerlifting person.
Wait, isn't Amon
And
Ra kind of small?
yes, but he is if you see him without his shirt off, he is a Greek sculpt. He's a monster.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. So he's 6 feet. Okay.
Yeah, he's
So
short, but he's built like a house.
because 6 feet is pretty short for a wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
That's like AJ Dillon is 6 feet. So for here's my argument for him.
Mm-hmm.
He's a rookie last year, right? So after the bye week, which was week 9 for him, pre-bye week, his most targets in a game, he only had 8 in one game, and that was weeks 4 and 5, still got 10 points, but no touchdowns during the
Mm-hmm.
during the first 8 weeks, no touchdowns. He didn't even I don't he didn't play week 7. So his first 7 games, no touchdowns. Guess the bye week, week 10. 6 targets. Okay. Week 11. 4 targets.
Yeah.
Okay. Week 12. 4 targets. Okay. Week 13, 12 targets. Week 14, 12 targets. Week 15, 11 targets. Week 16, 11 targets. Week 17, 11 targets. Week 18,
Yeah.
10 targets. And then he starts getting touchdowns. So he gets 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He gets 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 touchdowns out of
6
6 games.
total, but yep.
Yeah.
5
So
in the last 6 weeks and 6
yeah.
total. Yeah,
Um. So
I'm with you.
he's just like he starts beasting on people once
Mm-hmm.
he's breaks out of that rookie. So that's wide receiver 24 to end the year in full PPR. And then basically from week, if you just take week 10 to 17, and that's like including his bye week, he's the wide receiver 10.
There you
So,
go.
and
Yep.
that's
And
not
it
even
was,
before he started getting all those targets. So if you
yeah.
if you take an even smaller sample size of just his last 6 weeks, it's even higher. But I'm not gonna look at week 18, because no one's playing the Lions for real in week 18.
Well, right. And it was,
Yeah.
yeah, to culminate all of that stat line you said, it was his last 6 weeks was, I just saw it. It was, where did it go? 51 passes caught and 6 touchdowns. That was the second best of any wideout in the final 6 seasons, final 6 weeks of the year. So
Second best,
absolutely,
dude.
he came on hot
Yeah.
and strong. It's one of those guys that you can't understand how it works until he gets on the field and
Yeah.
does it. Everyone. It's again, we had talked about it last week. Um, it's one of those guys where like when you watch him play, you're like, why didn't my team draft him? But
Yeah.
then you kind of accept it because you go, you know what? He wouldn't be who he is if my team took him in the first round. You know what I mean? Or they took him
Yeah.
and like it. So I'm happy for the guy because it's a cool story. He's one of the short ones, and
He's
he's
one of
out
the
there
short
producing.
ones.
So
Yeah.
it's you got to stick together. So yeah, I like that pick. I do. Now is he wide receiver 2 or 3? Now where? Yeah, like
So where am I? I'm kind of projecting him. Actually, let me think before I answer that because I don't all the way. Is Brian Anger still playing the punter for you guys?
the for us.
Yeah.
I
Sorry,
think so. No,
this
you're
is
fine.
so
I got
random, but
random.
I need to make a pick and I don't have a punter yet, he's available here. This is for all
Let me.
22, and
Yeah, I got you. Give me. Do you have? Let me
I
do
see
the.
he's 33, but I don't give a shit how old he is. I just need him to do
No.
well.
Why can't I spell Brian right now?
BRY for him? That's such a douchey way to spell Brian.
No. And then Unger is like
Anger.
ANG. I think I got.
Yeah,
All right, hold
he's
on.
active.
Yeah, as an American football punter for the Dallas Cowboys.
All right. Should I draft
Doesn't.
him or Khalil Herbert? Well, I gotta draft Herbert, and I'll just punter.
There you go. No, you could. I mean, if you want to go punter, go with him. I think he's going to play. I don't think they brought in anyone to compete with him. Yeah, he's making $3 million this year. You got a 3 mil, not yeah, you got a 3-year, $9 million deal from us. I don't think they brought anyone in to compete with him.
Okay, cool.
Brian Unger is our guy.
All right. I don't think he'll fall back to me because we're in the last round, and I think
Round.
everyone waited for punters.
There
So
you
this is
go.
round 53.
Nice. Hey, yep. So get the pick of the litter on the punters.
Although I don't think anyone would have taken Herbert, so I probably could have just whatever.
There you go. I had
Um,
drop him in an hour when the draft's over.
oh man. All right, so Amon Ra is for me. Okay, I'm thinking about where do I project him out this year to finish, and I need to look at my rankings to do that to make sure I'm thinking about this. I mean, definitely in the wide receiver, but I don't know, could he be like all right, I'm gonna call my shot at wide receiver 14. I'm just gonna do it.
I don't like that.
I don't think Swift will be in. I think Swift will be like running back 13 because I think there's going to be some
Right.
touchdown upside stolen by Amon Ra.
There you go. And yeah, like we had said before, we kind of had Swift in that Zeke area. And if you believe in Swift, by all means, take Swift over Zeke. But if you
Yep.
don't, take Zeke over Swift. Yeah, I like that. And that, I mean, right. What is your trust level of anything outside of, like Deontay Johnson is where it starts getting like, I think Michael Pittman is better than Amon Ra, but like, haven't seen it yet with Matt Ryan.
Yep. That's a
Um,
good question. What about
I'm not
Petty
a
C?
DJ Moore. I'm not a DJ Moore fan, but
Mm-mm, me neither.
If Christian McCaffrey's healthy, then it kind of makes everything else better. So he could kind of be on your radar, but still, again, not ahead of Brown. I guess like, what is your thoughts on like Brown compared to a Jalen Waddle or Metcalf? Because they have a little bit
Mm.
more. They all three have kind of question marks at quarterback in a way. I guess if I had to pick out of the three, I'd probably take Waddle there because I just believe that Waddle has shown from his rookie year that I'm gonna catch 8 to 10 balls a game, no matter if it's Tua or your mother. I'm gonna catch him.
Yeah, so Waddle, okay, so I'm treating Waddle the same way I'm treating Devonta Smith, even though I love Devonta Smith, because with
Okay.
both teams, they added a wide receiver one
Yep.
to a team that already had a prolific rookie wide receiver last year. So now some of their upside is absolutely capped because you have respectively AJ Brown and Tyreek Hill. So
Mm-hmm.
Amon-Ra doesn't have that to compete with.
That's
He
a good
is the
point.
wide receiver one, so there's kind of
Yep.
that part of it for me.
Right. Yeah. Right. Josh Reynolds was brought in as if that's not going to take his
Oh no,
right.
DJ Chark.
Okay. Right. But he's coming
Yeah.
off of a torn ACL.
And he's
Either a
old. And I think he's
yeah,
grumpy.
yeah,
But
older, definitely
Jameson
grubbing off an
Williams,
injury.
Jameson Williams is the rookie they drafted. He's gonna miss some time. So
Yes, he is. He's gonna miss, yeah, a good amount of time. They don't have him. I don't know if they even have him on the radar until either end of year / next year.
okay.
They've been reports of leaning towards a straight up red shirt year for Williams out there in Detroit.
Okay.
But obviously, I don't think that's a full on. You know what I mean? I bet I wouldn't
Yeah.
be surprised to see the kid the last 4 or 5 games and he becomes a factor in the ad drop world of fantasy. My worry with DK is the quarterbacks. I mean, I know we've been preaching on other shows, and in this one that somebody has to score even on bad teams.
Yep.
But Seattle might be so bad that I don't even know if DK can compensate for how bad that's going to be.
I mean, that's where with
Again,
DK, every
compared
time
with
I
Brown,
look at it, I'm like, am I gonna draft
compared with
DK?
Brown, you
Yeah.
know.
So DK to me, his ceiling is what Cortland Sutton was last year.
Yeah, right. That's yeah. I mean, I guess that's right. With maybe a little bit extra because he's a freak and he could make a few more people miss.
Yeah.
So maybe he does a few more plays that Sutton doesn't make. But yeah, I don't hate that. Well, again, with a bad quarterback.
Yeah.
All right, tight ends.
Tight ends. I had a hard time with this. Go
I
for
did.
it.
I did too.
Yeah.
And then the big guy kind of just came to me, and it's for me. It's Zach Ertz from Arizona.
Wow.
I'm kind of ashamed of myself for not like when I saw it. Christian Kirk left for free agency.
Mhm.
Hopkins is out for the first 6 games. More productive last year in Arizona than his time in Philly last year because it was kind of like one of those half and half years where he split with both teams. He's re-signed to a 3-year deal there, so they believe in him even with the second rounder being drafted. He more or less averages 5 to 6 catches a game with 60 yards and a touchdown close to value. I mean,
Yeah.
to me, if you don't want to take a chance on one of those top 4 to 5 tight ends, the Waller, Pitts, Kittle, and Kelsey, and just if you don't trust any of the elite tight ends, you think they're either not worth it or gonna get hurt.
Yeah.
Excuse the pun. You're gonna get hurt. Then Zach Ertz is gonna be right there for you. You may have to reach 1 or 2 rounds ahead of what you think for him if you really want him like I do. But yeah,
Yeah.
outside of Kelsey, Kittle, Pitts, and Waller, there's guys there you can make the case that are just as good as Ertz. I just think Ertz is 10 times more reliable than any of them.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. So my guy is in direct opposition with yours in that In all reality, I'm taking Dalton Short. In all reality, Dalton Schultz is my guy. Okay.
And I don't hate that at all.
In all reality,
Yeah.
but
And
I
yep.
started thinking about this, and I'm like, who's actually like a my guy that's like in the same vein of as Khalil Herbert, where I'm like,
There you go. A
I
little off the
can't wait
radar.
to. I can't. Yes, like I can't
Yeah.
wait for this guy to have fantasy relevance and have people go, "What?" and me go, "Yep, of course." And that is Max Williams. You remember him?
I do.
So he's coming back. He's back. He's live already. Ahead of
All right.
target. 28 years old. That's prime tight end age. He's rehabbing way ahead of schedule. He only
Yep.
played in 5 games last year. And in the games that he played, he had a game with 7 targets and 7 catches. He had a game with 5 targets and 5 receptions and a touchdown. When he's getting targeted, he's making the catches.
Yeah.
And they started to scheme for a tight end because Max Williams was breaking away, and they were going, "Oh my God!" Remember when the Cardinals won the first freaking like 11 games,
Right.
right?
Yeah. Right.
And then Max Williams goes down. They're like, "Shit, we already schemed for a tight end.
Yeah.
We have all this stuff ready.
And in
What
comes
do we
Zach Ertz.
do?" Oh, Zach Ertz. Well, just same guy, plug and play. Now, Zach
Yeah.
Ertz is not the same guy as Max Williams. I think he's a little more washed than people are realizing, in my opinion.
Yeah. Fair enough. I think he is
Um,
31 years old. You definitely probably the last year you put Zach Ertz on your radar.
right, right. This is it.
Yep.
So I think with Max Williams coming back, in all reality, let's say, given actually able to fully recover from the injury, he's the guy they want as their tight end one, and he's the guy they initially schemed for. And Zach Ertz was kind of the band-aid to get them through the rest of the year. And as you can see, they didn't do as well without Max Williams. Like pretty much
Mm-hmm.
just, there's a lot going on there. I'm not acting like Max Williams is the reason they started losing.
Right.
I'm
Right.
not an idiot, but
Right. He wasn't
yeah,
Gronk, but yeah, it's
right. So
yeah.
there's for me, that's been my like little
Okay.
flag
Hey,
flag plant. He's way ahead of schedule. I think he is going to be in the season opener, and I would not be surprised if fantasy wise he surpasses Ertz and actually finishes in a top 15 tight end. That's crazy. It's probably 17. I'll go ahead and
but
say that.
still,
He's going to
yeah.
finish 17 tight end. You're going to not even
Yep.
have to draft him. So that's yeah.
Yeah. There you go. And
Yeah.
that, you can, set that up to where, like you said, you take a Dalton Schultz late, you draft, and then not draft, and then pick up Williams on the waiver wire, and then work a trade somewhere down the line for a Schultz with somebody who desperately needs a tight end. Or, like you said, with you having him and that spot on that radar or off the radar, excuse me, you can set up your draft to where Zach Williams is going to be my third to last pick, and I'm going to take a defense and a kicker. And
Yeah.
now I can focus on all the other rounds and do due diligence on QB, wideouts, and running backs that I really want. Because even if I don't, and if Zach Williams doesn't work, then you go plug and play. And it's not the end of the world, and that you're just not a believer in the tight end for that season in fantasy.
Yeah, and I also I really feel like unless he's comes out on the IR, I'm not gonna draft him. No one's gonna draft
Right.
him.
That's true. Well,
Yeah,
exactly.
it's like Dawson Knox last year. Like I had
Right.
Dawson Knox on my radar, but I was like,
Right.
okay, I'm not, no one's. And then I
Yeah.
picked him up in week
There
5,
you
and
go.
then I had
Yeah.
Andrews
And
and Knox, which was
off
stupid.
you go.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. I tried to trade
So
Knox so many times because I'm like to all these teams in our league that didn't have a tight end one, and I'm like, I'm trying to give you a tight end one. I needed a running
it's
back.
right. The worry with Knox, and the continue worry for me is it's touchdown or bust. He
Yeah,
he averages like less than 3 to 5. He gets like 3 to 5 catches on average. It's significantly less than all the other top tier tight ends. But with that being said,
yeah.
he is Josh Allen's guy. He's Josh Allen's second guy, and sometimes he's Josh Allen's third guy in the red zone. That is just like
I know.
it's like, oh, who caught it? It's Dawson Knox. I don't even need to look. You're telling me it was a touchdown Buffalo and Josh Allen threw it in the red zone. It was Dawson Knox. Like it.
Because they're scheming for everything. They're scheming for Josh Allen to run it.
Yep.
They're scheming for
Diggs.
Singletary. They're scheming
Yep.
for Diggs. And then it's
Yep.
like, oh, we forgot about this fucking guy.
Right. And that they go down the field with Singletary and Diggs and everything else. And like you said, yeah, and it's down at the 4, sneaky bootleg, and Knox just slips away, and there he is, nobody with him in the corner, and it's
I know.
feels
This
you at
fucking
6.
guy.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I I've always never, for some reason, been a believer in the tight end position.
Yeah.
Via fantasy, I probably should start. It's just all the years that I thought I knew more than other people did, specifically with tight ends, I'd be dead wrong. And so I think
Yeah.
it just kind of has like adversely affected my thinking since, like, I was a David Njoku guy his rookie year. Now he's a swing
Really?
and a miss. Austin Hooper, as we talked about on a previous episode, like,
Fucking hate
yeah,
that guy.
I was telling like my mom or my cats or anyone that would listen about Austin Hooper that year in Atlanta. I'm like, this is it. He is going to be Rob Gronkowski 2.0. Like, you're going to see a
Yeah.
Gronk-like season out of the guy. And so then from there, I'm like, you know what? Screw you, tight ends. I'm
Yeah.
going to take a Dalton Schultz, like whatever one emerges as the steady as he comes, 10 points. And that's where I'm staying. So, and that's why, again, I
Yeah.
think Ertz, because at the floor is 10 points a game. And that's what you need out of a tight end.
Yeah, I agree with
And
that. If
to
that,
just not
yeah,
get you zero.
he's who you draft. Like you don't
Yeah.
draft honestly, I wouldn't draft an Njoku. Well, especially now you're
No.
not gonna draft Njoku. But I think about um Trey McBride, who that's
Yeah.
the third. He's he could,
Yep.
and so that was where
And
I
yeah,
was
'cause
like,
he's a second rounder who, yeah,
it could
he's
be
more
him.
pass
He's the
catching. Yeah,
new
it's,
Fryermuth or whatever.
I know
Yeah,
it's a crowded that is the other part of my Zach Ertz pick, is that it is a crowded room in that tight end room for Arizona.
I
But
can't
I just
believe
think
we
there's enough.
accidentally. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that I think there's enough ball to go around, at least for the first 6 games amongst all of them.
Well, hopefully, yeah.
Hopefully, yeah. Maybe
And
one
if
of them will get
not,
cut or traded, like Max
can you
Williams goes to
imagine
the
if they just
Giants.
cut? Who would they cut?
Oh, it'd be Max Williams out of the three.
Okay.
I would think, because Ertz got the new deal and the other guy's a second round rookie. Unless the second round rookie completely doesn't know anything, which
Yeah.
I haven't heard anything of that like. So it would probably be, I don't know, but I don't know Max Williams' contract. And I would imagine I'm sure they like 3 tight ends, because they do a ton of 2 tight end stuff over there, or they will.
They
It's,
probably, yeah, they should now for
again, especially
sure.
the first 6 with Hopkins being out.
Yeah.
Look for them to really, I think, bunch it in and let it be running game with Connor and Murray doing read option, roll around, quick stuff.
All right.
But we'll see.
Worried about Murray this year.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
All of it. I think he gets off to a hot start like he always does, and then team figure him out, and then it fizzles.
Yeah.
And then the worry is now there's going to be, what is it now, 2 years of film on him. So it's even more film on how to scheme to where, what happens when a team finally figures out, oh, you just got to keep him in the pocket. And then everyone else does that and repeats it. Like,
Yeah.
that's the worrisome with a Kyler Murray, is that, and also missing Hopkins for the first 6. Life is so much easier with DeAndre Hopkins.
I
Like,
mean, jeez.
you just got to get the ball in the air and the rest is done. So I worry about Murray. I worry about Arizona. It's Arizona and Seattle are on my radar of like, that thing could go south fast. More Seattle than Arizona, of course. I think
Yeah.
Arizona will hang around and be competitive.
Yeah. Seattle's
Yeah.
it's gonna be bad. And I don't
It's
think
gonna
the
be bad,
preseason tells everything, but it
but
was
yeah,
already pretty bad last year, even with fucking Russell Wilson. So it's like,
right. And yeah. So, and then what else was I gonna finish with? So then I guess, yeah, it's the other tight end that obviously I had from the last episode we had mentioned also was Evan Ingram. That was actually the one I should have mentioned here too, because Evan Ingram does nothing but stay inside the top 10 of tight ends.
yeah,
And if you believe in the quarterback like I do, he'll be there too. So that
man.
would be the other tight end caveat I got there, is Evan Ingram, because I just, yeah. And again, if you go back to Doug Peterson, where Zach Ertz had, full circle this whole thing, Zach Ertz's best year as a tight end under Doug Peterson. Who does Evan Ingram have now, going right into the heart of his prime like Ertz did? Doug Peterson.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm very high again, specifically on Carolina's offense. I'm Jaguars offense, on Jacksonville's offense.
Really?
I
So
think they're
you
gonna. Yep,
okay.
I think they're gonna lose a ton of games in shootouts or have
Okay.
blow leads or whatever.
Yeah.
But I think Lawrence, the weapons, the line, whole nine. I really think that they're gonna put themselves square in a top 10 offense next
Hell
year.
yeah. I can't think why not for this year too. Yardage wise, they'll be top 10, probably fantasy points
Yeah,
wise.
but yeah, then as a
Um,
team, I don't know if the record will drastically improve. Well, yes, it will improve, but they won't be competitors this year, to put it that
they're another team like the Eagles where their defense is weirdly stacked, just stacked.
way.
And you're just like,
Yep.
how? Like, and then they got Foyce Alucon, and they draft Chad Muma, and like all this stuff, and you're just like, how do you have? They have the other
I
Josh
know.
Allen, the DN
Yep.
Josh Allen.
Yep.
Yeah.
I
So
know there are some pieces there defensively too as well. So yeah,
yeah.
you could talk yourself into Jacksonville real quick, especially if you really hated
Defense.
Urban Meyer because
Oh my
you
God, I hated him. I hated
yeah
him
and
as soon as he was like signing Tim Tebow. I was like, okay, guys, we're really
yeah when
gonna
he
do
did right.
this. We're gonna do
So
this.
there was that whole charade. So now that there was an actual adult in the room, um, there was one other thing I was about to ask you fantasy wise, and then it completely just slipped my head. Oh, not fantasy wise. Last thing was anything you're looking forward to this weekend preseason game wise besides I guess the Patriots.
Sure, sure. I do want to see that game because of the fight.
Right.
I'm watching. There's some all 22 stuff I'm looking for some deeper cut positions. I just
Nice.
had some stuff open. Oh man, I might have closed it all, but there's some
It's okay.
specific players I'm looking at. Obviously, I'll be keeping an eye on Simi, and
Yep.
we'll be looking at
I'm gonna
Herbert.
have
Yeah,
yeah.
yep.
I'm gonna have
Um,
my eyes on it's gonna be on Brissett and Cleveland because I want to obviously now we
mm,
know what we know. Watson's out, so I want to see how does that even if it's just for a series or two, how
mhm,
does it look with Brissett? How does Cooper look? Does he look like they're on the same page? How does Chubb? Is the team our team stacking a box because they're not worried about Brissett?
yeah,
Again, it'll be a getting ahead of yourselves moments because it's just a week of preseason. But I'll be very curious to see how, even if it's just for a series, how it looks with Jacoby Brissett because
yeah.
that's coming for the next 11 games. And
Yeah,
actually, here's
totally.
one actual final one. Personal opinions of the guy aside, now that it's been decided 11 games, is Watson any kind of thought for a stash?
No,
No, not for you.
it's too
Gotcha.
late in the season
Yeah,
because he's got his
fair
bye
enough.
week too. So
You're
it's
right.
like
No, good point.
you want him for week 13. You want him for his first 2 weeks back for
Well,
your
then I guess
championship. For your championship.
so. Well, that's the thing. So I guess so. Let me read. So then, not as a stash, but
Uh,
then let me rephrase the scenario to where it's like I mean, it's a layup if your quarterback goes down because
right.
obviously then you take him. But like, let's say your quarterback struggled for like 2 weeks going into the champion. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
do you consider him if he's there on the waiver wire as an
Sure. I'm
add
really
to
hoping
drop
someone
come week
else.
11?
I think
Yes,
I'm
I
hoping
think.
someone else does
Oh
it.
yeah, we will
Yeah.
100%. I think in our league, somebody will be stashing him
Yeah.
last round.
And like so you can play him your second to last week. Okay, sure.
It's
Okay, there's a couple other players. Isaiah Pacheco, running back, rookie running back for Kansas City.
yep,
I'll be watching some two linebackers specifically, Frankie Louvu of the Carolina Panthers, who I've been calling Frankie Louis Vuitton. I
nice,
think
love
he's
it.
doing the
You should
next for
definitely
linebackers.
tweet him that so he can
Frankie Louis Vuitton.
get a Louis
Yeah.
Vuitton deal and
I hope he well like and he started a bunch of shit with the Patriots, so I'm not acting like I'm a fan of his specifically
right,
as a
just
person.
yep, got him on your radar.
He was one of the guys in on the thing, but he's been kind of a dog when it comes to any snap he plays, and I'm grabbing him on all 22 drafts. So I just want to see if his rates translate onto the
Yeah,
field. And then Leo Chanel, who is a rookie linebacker for the Kansas City Chiefs, as well as Nick Bolton. So Nick
Okay.
Bolton is a second-year player, linebacker for the Chiefs, and then they drafted Leo Chanel. I think because Nick Bolton wasn't who they wanted him to be. So I kind of
Gotcha.
have my eye on that linebacker position for the
Absolutely.
RSO league I have, and I drafted Leo Chanel. I might just end up cutting him, but I want to see if there's a reason to hang on to him, basically.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. All
Yeah, and
right.
Chad Muma. I'm interested in Chad
That
Muma,
as,
Jacksonville.
as you should be.
Because
As you should.
he's the future, I think, after
Yeah,
Fourier. Yeah.
absolutely. So,
All right. Little
yeah, I think
IDP for you
that's
guys too.
yeah, a little
Like
something. I know.
defense. Yeah. I
Yeah,
love
let us
defense,
know.
man. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, this was sick. This was our My Guy episode for the year. And maybe we hop
Absolutely.
on if I'm back in town on time, it would honestly be sick to hop on a Zoom during our draft.
I would absolutely love every
Unless
minute
you're
of that.
meeting up with people, then maybe not.
I
But
I don't I even if that happens, I'll still, you know what I mean, make them stand in front of the Zoom and they can make their pick in front of it with us.
I mean,
I'll let
in that
yes,
case, I'll just go. But
yeah,
like,
100%. But yeah, no, I'm with you. We will definitely work something out for draft, but
yeah.
I would definitely be on down for a Zoom live it.
Okay, that would be sick. That would be
So
sick. All right,
I'll
so
let you know.
9 days prepping my rankings right now.
There you
Thanks,
go.
thanks for
Yep,
thanks for
get
watching,
the sleepers
everybody.
going. That's right. Thank you all
Yeah,
for sitting in and listening to us.
yeah. Catch you on the
We
flip.
appreciate it.